Hear your voice in the quiet. I ended up meeting the script. They took a CD from me and ended up signing me.
All right, what's up, everybody? I think this will be episode 10. Today we have a very special guest. We have a singer-songwriter, Colton Avery. How you doing today?
Yo, how are you guys? I'm good. How about yourselves?
Oh, we're doing good. It's good to have you. I've been listening to his music for a couple years now. Favorite song I've added to my playlist, I don't know, 3 years ago was "What Is It About the Night?" Maybe not that long, but been listening to it for a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you for adding that, by the way, before we jump in, man. Thank you.
Of course, dude. My brother knows it. I know it. My whole family knows it. Like, that's one of my favorite songs. So yeah, I think we're gonna start off with some questions, like rapid fire questions, just quick, easy, get to know you kind of questions. Because if people out there that don't know who he is, here you go. You guys can kind of find out a little bit of information. So,
I'm
Isaiah,
ready.
you do it.
All right, you ready, my man?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
All right. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, dude, that's a good question. I'll probably, comedy-wise, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay, love it. Okay, fast food restaurant.
Oh man, I'm a Wendy's guy.
Wendy's. Ooh,
Okay.
you like that 4 for 4, I bet.
No, dude, that's so funny. No, I've been a spicy chicken addict my whole life, so I'm in on it every time.
All
So is that
right.
your favorite? Is that your favorite spicy chicken?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think it is, because to me it's like the OG. I don't remember any other restaurants like serving that up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Wendy's like brought that to the table. So yeah, that's got a special place. For sure.
Sweet.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Oh, PlayStation, man. That's not even a
All right, we'll see. We'll talk to you later, dude.
All right.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
It's been
goodbye. Yeah,
fun.
yeah, goodbye.
We both have Xboxes, but no, I used to have a PlayStation.
Favorite
Yeah.
game?
Dude, I have not gamed in ages, but like the last game that you know what it is, dude? I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot from back in the day.
Dude,
Dang.
I used to
way
love
back.
that game.
Vintage that has a special place here as well.
Favorite artist?
Ooh, right now it's this guy. His name's Mont Duhamel. Yeah, this is a totally plug for this guy. He's absolutely incredible. So check him out.
Smart. Favorite TV show?
New Girl, man. I'm not even afraid to say that. I love that show.
Hey, my wife and I watched that. It's a good one.
Let's go. Yeah.
Favorite sport?
Ooh, baseball.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay,
My man.
You're
Let's
back
go.
in here.
Favorite
You're
team?
back in here.
Yeah,
Favorite
hey, yeah, I
team.
recovered from the Xbox PlayStation
You're
question.
good,
There
you're
you go.
good. Favorite team?
Oh man, I'm a D-backs fan. You know, growing up in Phoenix and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah,
If you were
yeah,
stuck
it's not
on
saying much these days. It's like,
yeah,
Hey,
that is
oh,
very true.
okay, yeah.
It's very true. If you were stuck on an island, what is the one thing you're taking with you?
Probably just
you got to give him like 3 things.
no.
One
One's cool. One's
Okay.
cool.
Just one thing. What's the one thing?
Oh, dude, a guitar. Cause I'm outdoorsy enough. I could start fires. Yeah, man, just a guitar.
That's awesome.
And last one right here. Who's the famous person you have on your phone?
A famous person I have on my
Or
phone.
or someone that follows you on social media.
Oh man, well, no, famous person I have on my phone. Yeah, and like Natasha Bedingfield's probably the first that comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's a great artist and a really dope writer. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
All
So
right.
all right. So I believe you started out as a songwriter. Is that correct? Or how did you get your start in when did you realize that this is something that you can do?
I started out actually as an artist. So I released okay. Going from the beginning, I guess, like your question sort of suggests. I realized it was something I wanted to do in high school. My dad got me a 16-track recorder when I turned 16. I had to learn all these songs to get it. And he bought it for me, and I just loved it, man. Like I just immediately got stuck in, and learn production basics, not knowing I was doing that. Like I was just recording to kind of, write some songs, and started doing that. Um, Sort of knew that I was decent at it my senior year. I auditioned for Berklee College of Music, got into a couple programs there, and I was like, all right, like if I got in, I didn't end up going. I couldn't afford to go. But I was like, maybe there's something here. So then
Yeah.
started playing coffee shops, lied my way into a few venues, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've been playing for ages,
Yeah.
Um, then just built it up from there in Phoenix, and eventually that got to a decent place there, recorded and released my first record. And then I actually randomly played this one-off gig. Live Nation booked me. They're like, hey, would you like to play this private section at the Train Gavin DeGraw and script gig? And I was like,
Wow.
sure, we're coming off the back of a gig at Marquee Theater. Yeah, let's do it. So we ended up playing it, and then they moved me to London. I got to tour with them a bit, and then that's when I started getting into writing for other people.
Oh,
Uh,
that's sick.
yeah, and so that sort of took over at that point. Like I got so into it, and learning how to write in all these genres, it made me a little bit confused about who I was as an artist. And then in the end, I released a few songs like Religion and Far Too Long and What Is It About the Night. But still the main gig right now, man, has just been writing for other people. And then, but that being said, I finally have a direction for my second record. Like it's been a long time, and I've written probably 5 second records now, but I finally am in a place where I'm like, this feels good.
There you
Before
go.
that, I'd finish it and it was just like, it's not me still. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
I'd get behind it and be like, hey, yes,
Oh yeah.
but now it feels that way. So
Well, now you got me asking some questions because that was good. What's funny, real quick to start, I learned guitar probably about 10 years ago.
okay.
And I started playing, I learned just from a book, and the first song I ever learned was For the First Time by The Script.
Hey,
Yeah.
dude, they are such amazing people and such amazing songwriters, man. I've nothing but great things to say about
That's
them.
why I thought that's so cool that you got to like go with them and meet them and stuff, because that's the first song where I sat there for like weeks and was like, I gotta master this because it's easy. It's like a G, C, D, it's like the main chords. But I was like, I gotta get this down because I gotta practice my switching. And so I finally got it down. Now I can play all kinds of songs. But that's cool that you got to do that.
Yeah.
And then so are you trying to focus on song? What do you like? I don't want to say like better, but what do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy performing or do you enjoy writing songs for people?
Oh man, I that's kind of loaded in a really great way. I
Obviously, you enjoy doing both, but like if someone was like, "Hey, we want you
if
to
I had to
perform,"
choose, man, if I
yeah,
had to choose, I'd say songwriting, because like at the end of the day, if you don't have anything to perform, like there's this dual feeling that you get when you write a new song, right? Where you can feel what it's gonna be like when you play it live. So you get that little bit of joy as to like what that's gonna feel like on stage. So I'd say songwriting, just because
okay.
it's like you get both.
So I've never really got to talk to a songwriter, someone that actually knows what they're doing. Um,
Sure. Well,
I
yeah, you
can
might want to call someone else. I have no. I've
no,
not.
I've listened to your songs. I mean, they're great.
Thank you.
What I'm trying to say is like I've tried to sit down and write a song, and I don't even know where to begin.
Okay.
When you write a song, do you come up with the melody or like the rhythm of the song first and then write lyrics? Do you write lyrics, then do that? Do you kind of go in sections? How do you do it?
It's different every time, man. Um, to start though, like a really good practice for me, learning from the script, right? So when I first got signed to them, I didn't write loads of songs. I only wrote whenever it like literally the whole song almost like hit me in the face. Uh, but then being with them and learning about volume, just to sort of like quick class for you, I would start with like a turn of phrase, right? A title. Um, like, okay, let's say like, what's a cool word? Okay, serotonin. Cool, that's a cool word. Why not? So you go, okay, that's the title. Well, what would the chorus be about? Because that's your landing point, right? Like the
Yeah.
chorus is what you want to say. Everything else is like, just get to the chorus, right? So then you go, okay, serotonin. Well, okay, maybe I'll talk about maybe I'll make this song about a girl, and instead of talking about serotonin like like just a chemical, maybe I like reference it like it's the girl's name, right? And so then I just go
Okay.
into the thing. So then you paint the chorus, right? Where it's like you use it as her name. Serotonin, slide with me. Open up my eyes, baby. Whatever you want, right?
Okay.
Then you make that your chorus, and you can short and sweet usually, something that people can digest, and then you just from that point go into your verses and
That's sweet.
chorus should you want. So that's where I would say to start.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, just if you're getting into songwriting.
Okay.
But
Isaiah,
then
look like
after
you're gonna
that,
say
man, you
something.
can once you develop your skills, like of practicing writing choruses, practicing writing verses, you can then and practicing making music, right? It's like, oh, that's a cool riff, that's a cool vibe. Then you can start from any place, right? Because you've done each thing. So you go, oh, that sounds like a verse. Oh, that sounds like a chorus. Oh, that music sounds like it goes here. So
Okay.
then you can start piecing it.
So with that being said, could you explain Salt Lake City? What kind of the motive was behind that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That actually was one that started out as music. I really wanted a riff that changed chords really quickly. I got bored of writing songs where it was like boom, 2 3 4, dun, dun,
Yeah.
where the chords change slow. And so I was sat on guitar and I had this thing that was like and just moving. Um, I laid it down, and then I was living in Salt Lake City at the time, and um, we were just talking about scenarios, and it's not even a true story about my life. It's the only song probably I've written that's not a true story. But we were like, oh, how? Because here's where it came from. So we talked about Post Malone just moving to Salt Lake City, and we were like, what would be a dope song that he would write about, something going on in Salt Lake City? It's like, oh, maybe it's this thing if he meets this girl who's actually from there, but he's off living his life the way it is. And what would that relationship look like? And what would it be like if he went on the road and then realized that was a bad decision, and also like trying to fly her out to places and it not lining up all the time. And uh, because that's how relationships go as a songwriter and stuff. Sometimes it's like you're on the move, and so yeah. Then that song sort of just fell out.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
While talking about songs, I was gonna save this for later, but Isaiah already kind of went over it. What is it about the night? All right.
yeah.
Um, you got to tell me about it because I've been listening to it for a while. I feel like I sort of know kind of what it's about, but um,
What? Well, I want to hear that. Then I'm gonna answer.
I feel
What do you
like
think
based
it's
off
about?
of how the song is, it's kind of like a I don't want to say breakup, but I kind of want to say maybe like some women troubles to where, and I could be completely wrong. But this is um where like the pain of whatever is going on hits you worst at night.
Yes. Yeah,
That's what
because
I
like
got from that song is like, and I kind of feel the same way because like when I had issues going on, I feel like at night when you're by yourself, either laying in bed or people are asleep or whatever it is, that's when you're like in your thoughts and then it hits you and you're like, this sucks. So
that's
that's what I
exactly
kind of
right.
got from that song.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. Like I've heard people make breakup songs and stuff, but I really just I was missing my true story. I was missing my or daughter at the time. I was out in LA and they were in London, and I was at night. I was just like, oh, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is how it always is. Like whether you're missing a girlfriend or whether you're going through a breakup, like days are fine for whatever reason. It's like whether you're at work or you're busy or just the sun's out. I don't know what it is. But I was like, it's always at night. That's always when you text somebody. That's always when you feel lonely or you can't sleep. And so I just like distilled it into just that moment alone. And I remember saying, I was like, what is it about the night that's just that does that to people?
That's so
Yeah. And
cool.
so yeah, then I
That's
came
so
up with the
cool.
chorus. Yep.
Um, the
Dang.
beginning of the song, you kind of just sing the little "What is it about the night" real quick, and then it dies down. Did you come up with that right off the spot, or is that something where after the song was done, you're like, oh, maybe if I start off with this, because that's a cool way to start that song off.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I think it was because the riff to me in the verse, like if you get into songwriting more, it's all about holding people's attention
Oh yeah,
from the start. And so you weigh it like, do I sing the whole chorus at the beginning? Well, mine was very long. So no, I don't want to do that because it would take up almost the whole song, right? Because
Hmm.
that song's actually unconventional. It's only verse, chorus, and ends. There's no
Okay.
bridge. There's no three choruses.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I can't start it with the chorus. The song would take ages. People would be like, oh, okay, whatever, man, And but the guitar riff in it was more of a feel thing. It wasn't a defining riff like when you hear, um, like what is it, Cashmere by Led Zeppelin, right? Da na na da na na. Like that immediately.
Yeah.
My guitar riff wasn't strong enough to do that. Where I started the song and it was like, oh, sweet, I'm in it. And so I played with a couple things and then I just flew that little end bit over to the beginning and then just had it swell into the verse. And yeah, it just worked. So
That's awesome. No, I love it. And it kind of goes with when it comes to the entertainment, like music, kind of what we're doing here, YouTube, anything like that. It's all about starting off strong
mhm.
because a lot of people will either watch or listen to something for like 30 seconds, and if they can't stand it, then they're not going to watch the rest of it. And it's
Yeah,
kind of like what you're saying is you started off so strong that it like grabs your attention. You're like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this whole song because this sounds good.
yeah.
So yeah, no, that's awesome. Something else that I wanted to talk about was, believe you just got back from Kamp Fest.
Yes.
Is that right? Tell
Yeah.
us about what that is. I saw on your Instagram about it, and it looked like you were performing in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I want to know about that experience. How was that?
It was lovely, man. It was to explain about why that fest was Camp Fest. So last year my friend Andy Chavez, who's the lead singer of a band that I wrote for a few records, and that band came from Phoenix as well. So we came up in the scene together and ended up working together in the end. He passed away. He was in a car accident in California, and so Camp Fest is this festival that was started, and this was the first one. And this first one is to obviously honor him. And so I wasn't meant to play it. The band I was super grateful that they called, but they were just like, "Hey man, would you like to come out and sing a couple of the songs?" And one of the songs I actually wrote with them for them. And then the other song was one that they wrote either by themselves or with somebody else. But I agreed to come do it, and it was amazing. Like I love all those guys, and their manager is a really close family friend of mine as well. And so it was just really cool and also really eye opening to I'd never have had someone pass away before. That's
Yeah.
been a friend or um a friend in work. Like I've had friends pass away, but never anything related to music. And it was crazy to see just how many people their music had touched and just how much of an impact he had. And it really hit me hard because I was like, oh my gosh, it makes me want to release a lot of music, like not care so much anymore about, which has led me to my second record vibe. Is it was just like I don't want to care anymore what people think because it's not about that. I've spent too much time doing that as a songwriter for other people because you have to care about what the label thinks. You have to care about
Oh
what the
yeah.
artist thinks. But then when it comes to things like that, it's like he just made music for himself or because he was just such an artist, which made it really fun to work with him because I always wanted to just enter Catastro land. Like I loved living in that world. And so yeah, it made me realize the impact of music and made me think about what I want to leave behind. And so
That's
it was really,
awesome.
really cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Really
That's
cool.
that's cool. Oh, I was gonna say something. What? So do you are you you're living in, I believe you said Colorado.
Yeah.
Um, and then you're born in Phoenix. Have you where have you traveled to? Like, what have you been around quite a bit, and have you seen some cool things out in the world?
Yeah, man. Well, so I was born in Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Okay.
And then I lived in Farmington, New Mexico, which is a small town up until I was 16. And then we moved to Phoenix. But I
Mm.
always claim Phoenix is my place because it really opened all the doors for me. Like the small town that I lived in is an oil field town. There's nothing really going on, man. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, man. It's like country music,
Oh
oil
yeah.
fields and farms. And um, when I moved to Phoenix, it was just like the whole world opened up.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I've seen loads of places, man. I've been living in London the last 8 years. I just moved back almost a year ago next month.
Damn.
So how would you say living out in over here compared to London's like?
Very different.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's not like a third world country. There's a lot of similarities. Well, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's different and the same in a lot of ways. Like it's very westernized and it's a whole vibe. If you've never been to London, it's worth going because it's everything that you want it to be. It's like the white buildings that look all old school, the Queen, Hyde Park, all that stuff. It's the accents. It's everything you want.
Yeah, we jumped on the call and I heard your accent and I was like, wait, isn't this guy like from Arizona?
Yeah, I don't think I have an accent, which is funny.
You
But
know, you definitely you picked it
I
up
get
a little bit.
yeah, I
It's a
get
little
Just
bit.
slightly.
It's not crazy, but it is a little bit.
Slight.
Um, Isaiah, do you have any questions for him? I got
Jeez,
I got more, but
you pretty
you can
much
ask me.
answered, yeah, man.
hit me, man. I'm ask me anything. I will answer.
I guess.
So
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
you have a family. Is it
Yes.
just your daughter?
I have two daughters,
Two daughters.
and they're out in London with my ex-wife. So they're out there right now. But yeah, that's my family situation.
That's
How
awesome.
often are you visiting them? I know it can be hard when you
Yeah,
travel.
I mean, we're still yeah. I mean, a lot of that stuff's still being hashed out right now, actually. But I visit them. I visit them like 8 weeks out of the year. You know, I go out there for 2 weeks at a time, and then they'll come here hopefully this summer. But this is a whole new thing because I had been living out there, so the whole visiting thing's kind of brand new. But yeah, I like chunks of time. I don't know. It's kind of not defined right now, so I don't.
How
Yeah.
old are they?
4 and 2.
Okay, I have a 16-month-old and a 5-month-old.
Ooh, dude, what?
Dude, it's crazy. It's fun. It's not as tough as people were telling me it's gonna be. Um,
Yeah,
I think honestly, it's nice to have them like that because when the
get it done.
5-month-old gets just a little bit older, where she really knows what's going on, it will be nice. They can play with each other. But for a while, the 1-year-old was not having it with the little one, but now she finally understands what's going on.
Yeah, man. My daughter was the same. She
Yeah.
wasn't sure about what it was like to have another sister, and so it was a bit of a transition. But I feel you, man. We had the same mindset. It was like kids close together. You get all that, because you saw like when your kid turns 1, and then like a few months after that, they start becoming like self-sufficient. They can
Oh
eat
yeah.
on their own. They can walk around.
It's
You
so
teach them.
easy compared. It's so funny because my wife was like, newborn stage is easiest, and then
No,
once our 1-year-old got to walking and can eat and all this stuff, it's like we go out to eat now. Here's your food. You're happy for the next 30 minutes. Compared to now, like with the 5-month-old, you got to feed her. You got to make sure everything. So it's easy once they get to that point of
yeah, yeah. Anyone saying that the newborn thing is the easiest is lying
no.
because it's just constant.
Oh
There's
yeah.
not a second where you're not like, are they breathing? Are they okay? Have
Yeah.
they eaten? What's going on? Like, should they go to sleep? You know, it's like this whole
At
thing.
least when like when they start walking and can do things, they can play on their own. You can, as long as you don't got anything that's breakable or that they can choke and die on, then normally they're okay. Like
Yeah.
you can actually leave them for a few minutes.
Did you find it surprising as to what is then dangerous in your house? Because that was a big eye opener to me. You think you have everything cleared out, and your 1-year-old will trip and hit the one thing
Yeah.
that you're like everything else is covered in like foam except for this one thing, and they'll just trip and
Oh
you're
yeah.
like,
And
dude,
it's like
seriously.
things like too where you're like you think you pick your house up or whatever, and then they come over with a little bottle cap, and you're like, where did you get that? I just swept the floor. Like, how did you even get that? Or something, or literally last night, my daughter is walking in eating something. We're like, what are you eating? She found a chicken finger in her room that she hid from lunch. And I'm like, you can't do that because now I thought you had something bad in your mouth and you had a chicken finger from 4 hours ago.
She's resourceful, man. She's all about
And they're so much smarter than you think they are when they're little.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. They hear everything as well.
yeah.
How much is your little one talking? You're
Oh,
16.
she will pretty much say anything we say, or at least try to say it. Um, the other day, my wife's mom said that she was keeping her, and she said the S word. She said shit, and we were like, man, we got to stop saying that around the house now, because we didn't think she knew what that meant, or like at least like how to say it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, and too, what's good is like their attention span's so short. Like we had our daughter do that as well, where she said a word. I can't even remember what it was, but I remember us both being like, "Oh, like we can't." But we didn't bring attention to it because if you like go, "Hey," then you like drill it in almost.
yeah,
But if you let it go, their attention span, so they're like on to the next.
it's kind
You
of
know,
like if they
shiny
fall
thing
and
is like, oh,
it's kind of like if they fall and get hurt and you react really bad, they're gonna start freaking out. But if you're like, yeah, let's go, then my daughter's always like, okay, like I'm good.
mm-hmm.
Um, but
Let's get up. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of, I probably should have brought this up in the beginning, but like, what's your story? Like, I know we kind of went over the music part of it, but like, how old were you when you started learning how to play music? And then, um, at what point in your life were you like, I need to take this seriously? Because there's a lot of people that, do it on the side or want to do it and don't get the opportunity. But at what point in life, and like, where did you start from? Like, if you don't
So
mind.
yeah, dude, of course. I started playing guitar at 13. My parents got me this acoustic guitar, and my mom is a high school teacher, and she had a student who was really good at guitar, and he came over and he gave me one lesson, and I was learning a Three Doors Down song called "When I'm Gone." Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
I was like, I wanted to get in on that because I was like, girls will like this. So, um, I started playing it, and well, and couldn't. I was really struggling. And then at the end of that session, he was like, by our next lesson, he's like, you're not gonna be able to play this, and that's okay. And me being an athlete, and I'm super competitive, man. Like I hate when people tell me I can't do something. So he left, and I spent the week just like destroying my hands, and I learned my part and his. And then that second lesson, he was just like, well, just keep doing that. And so I got started, and so I think my family at that point knew there was a little bit of talent there.
So
But then
could you sing at that point too?
no, oh my gosh, no. People think that singing like comes natural. It comes natural to some people. Like my
Yeah.
dad's a really good singer, and my sister has a really great voice just naturally. But when I first started singing, I wanted to sing emo music, right? Like, dude, I was in high school in 2000. It was like, let's go, like
Oh yeah.
2005 and stuff. Like when I was a freshman. So I wanted to sing like Fall Out Boy and Story of the Year and Taking Back Sunday and all this stuff. And I sounded terrible. I have like recordings, and my mom used to come downstairs and be like, "Who's dying?" Like she would just like make jokes, right? And so it didn't come easy for me, man. Like I had this. I went to school that was like a very rock, like alt rock emo school, and like metal's heavy in New Mexico. So people weren't into R&B, man, and I was like, so when my friends weren't around, man, you could catch me singing Usher and all this stuff. So one day in the house, man, I was singing. I can't remember if it was like Usher or like Gavin DeGraw or like Chris Brown. I can't remember. But my mom came downstairs and she was like, "Was that you singing?" And I was like, "Let me guess, who's dying?" Right? And she was like, "No, actually, that was pretty good." So I just kind of took it from there, man. And um, yeah, then like learned some John Mayer and stuff. Got into that, of course, James Taylor, Eric Clapton, and all that. So
So you actually just learn on your own from just practicing?
yeah, practicing. Yeah, man. And then when I thought that there might be something there was I went to go visit this producer. I had a friend who I have family friends who are in the music industry. And one of them was a manager, not a big manager. Like he didn't have anyone famous or anything like that, but he took me on board and he took me out to meet this producer named Patrick Leonard, and who produced like Madonna and all kinds of people. And so I spent the day with him, and I thought he was just gonna brush me off, but so I came in, played him one song, and then he cleared his whole day, like, and just spent it with me. And I think it was at that point that my family sort of realized maybe there's something, and I sort of saw that in myself, like, hey man, this guy's really taking the time and
So
really encouraging to me.
do you
Dang,
have a
that's
good
crazy.
do you have a good support group behind you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
my family's always been for it, man. They've
that's
always
awesome.
just been like, do your thing.
I
Because
feel like
my
that.
family, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I feel like that's something that you need in this industry because it is so tough to not drop everything, but take it seriously. Because I mean, like it's tough for even the podcast. Like I feel like a lot of people look at it as a joke, and
Of course, that's always the way.
but then if it does end up doing something, then people are like, "Oh, dude, like what's up? Like I'm your friend now," and it's like, "Are you though?" Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I mean, the way my family always looked at it was, so my dad is a really, really great singer, and he wanted to be in a band in high school, and his dad sort of, you know, gave him that's a no go sort of thing, and so I think my dad's always been a little bit sensitive to that with me. But my family's always been of the mindset that, like, as long as we can tell that you're giving it everything and that you're like, you're motivated, you're out hustling everybody, then they support it no matter what it is. You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
That's awesome,
Um,
dude.
I'm gonna switch up the topic real quick because you mentioned
So
this earlier. Isaiah, we're gonna go into your favorite topic. You like baseball.
love
Ooh.
baseball, man.
Um, we both play in a men's league. By
Nice.
the way, just so you, I'm from Alabama, or I live in Alabama, and he lives in California. I'm originally from California, moved out here about 3 years ago, so we've known each other for some time. But yeah, we play in a men's league out here in both of our states. And um,
Nice.
do you ever go to games? Do you ever have the time to go to any games or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll catch a Rockies game here and there.
Yeah,
Here,
I've
and
been to I've been to one Rockies game actually in Colorado before.
it's lovely,
That was-
huh?
yeah, that
Yeah, their
was a
stadium.
long time ago.
Yeah, the
But
down.
so did you play baseball?
Absolutely, man. That was like,
Oh,
so that was where I sort of had to make two decisions. So whenever I graduated um, high school, I had the opportunity to walk on and play at U of A. Um, and
wow.
I chose not to. I knew that I was good enough to play college ball, but I wasn't good enough to play pro for sure. Like, like you can see it. I had friends who got drafted and stuff like right away. And it was like I could see the cap. They just had that thing. And I knew that I might have that thing with music. So, and I think deep down I was sort of making that transition anyway. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, I played baseball like year round for since I was like 10.
What position?
Center field, dude.
Oh man, so you're fast, so you're speedy.
Fast. Yeah, I got kicked out of I was a shortstop. I used to rotate between shortstop and second base. And then when I got onto the high school team when I was in middle school, the coach was like, there's like three second basemen and like four shortstops. And he's like, Avery, you're fast. Like, go out there and see how you like outfield. And I was like, sure. And I did, and I loved it. Like ever since then, I like outfield to me is it's the GOAT positions, man. Especially when you learn about like when you start getting into the pros and like what your favorite players play. It's like they're if they have a big stick,
Oh yeah.
and a dope arm, it's like those fools are in that outfield. And so I was cool with it at that point.
It's funny because I feel like growing up when you playing up until maybe high school, when you before high school, you look at outfield as like you're the worst players on the team because
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody ever really hits it to the outfield when you're 10, 11, 12 years old.
When you're young, it's like you try and mitigate your risk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta hide him in
You
right.
don't want the kid who can't catch getting drilled in the teeth with a line drive at third base, because
Yeah.
people rip them down that line,
Oh yeah.
or they can't throw it to first or whatever. So you just chuck them in the outfield. Like,
Yeah. And then you get into high school, and then I feel like that's when kids start realizing that outfield's actually amazing.
that's an
And
art.
um, I play second base. I'm originally a catcher, but
Nice.
for the team I play for now, we have a catcher that's an older guy that's been doing it forever. So I'll play second base. And last year
Is this
it was
like
like
slow pitch or like
no,
are
it's
you guys
real.
is
Like
it softball or like baseball
no, it's
proper?
baseball. Like we have
Because
a
usually people be like, oh, I played beer league, but it's like softball, you mean?
no, it's funny. I tell
Nah.
people about it, and everyone's like softball, and I'm like, no, like we have a guy that threw 90 last year. Like
Nice.
he came out of college and was playing with us and threw 90.
Bring the
And
cheese.
yeah, and so it's legit. And I went into right field because one of our guys had to leave early, and I didn't realize that like I can catch a fly ball and all that all day long, but when you're out there, this line drive was hit, and I kind of stepped in, and then dude, it like before I knew it, I was like, oh snap! Like I almost missed it, and I was like, I feel like outfielders have some kind of like they could read the ball better than infielders for sure.
I think just balls in the air, right? Like on the ground, obviously infield's a lot more unpredictable. And so like when you put an outfielder in the infield, it's like, oh, like that hopped weird. Whereas like when it's in the grass, like if you get a weird hop, that's so rare.
Yeah.
But yeah, if
Have
it's
you
in
ever
the
robbed have you ever robbed a home run or something?
Yeah,
See, that right there, I feel like is so hard.
it is.
I've never been able to do that.
I only did it once. And I didn't think I was gonna get it, to be fair, man. Like I thought, because like you'll climb the fence just for like the kicks, really.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, usually it's so clearly out of reach that it's like no way. So you kind of do the thing where you like try and go get it. Right though, because it's almost
that makes sense.
okay. I'm trying,
I feel like half the time too, I give up on it because I'm like, the fence is right here, and I'm like, oh man. But then after it goes over, I'm like, dude, I could have maybe tried to catch that.
Yeah.
And then you got to time it perfectly, and I'm just like, that is so much harder than people make it look.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's really difficult. Luckily, dude, this dude like barely. It was barely going over. Like it. I caught it, so it was like I don't know if it was gonna go like over or maybe even hit top of fence. You know what I mean? Like it was like right on where the plastic bit is that covers all the shit on top.
Oh yeah,
it was right there, and so I snagged it. You know,
you caught it, and then you threw your hand over the fence, and then you were like,
yeah, oh, yeah, like leaned way over, like I'm gonna go over with it. Yeah, no,
yeah, you made it look way better than it was.
Been sick. Yeah, it was just awesome. It was just a glove over scenario. I didn't have to do the whole like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you still robbed it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, who's your favorite player then?
Oh man, I'd probably say, to me, like one of the be all end all players is always going to be Ken Griffey Jr. Man, I just feel like he's the most fluid, like Zen like player I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
remember like Manny Ramirez was like that as well, but like Ken Griffey Jr. just had the dopest swing.
Yep.
On the planet, like no one touches it. It's like it almost looks he just dude, right? It was just like
yeah.
And yeah, so I always just looked at him, you know, just all the time. I think as a player, he was just so effortless with everything.
So I know that you don't game a lot anymore, but if you ever get the chance, you should try out MLB The Show.
Okay.
Have you ever played it?
No. Last game I jumped in on was like Rocket League and Fortnite and all that stuff. Like I got in on those for a bit. Like if I'm in the studio and there's a console there, I'll jump in. But you know.
So how often do you go to the studio, and are you able to produce your own music, or are you not comfortable with that?
I'm a producer, yeah. So I go to the studio. Well, I go to proper studios when I'm in London and when I'm in LA. For probably like 3 times a week. But then I do like breaks in between because studio sessions are like speed dating if you're with somebody new.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like you're in my studio right now in the basement in Colorado. Like I got my, my Yamahas here and like all my guitars in the tour case here and like all my stuff down here.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So are any of the songs on like Spotify and stuff produced all by you?
Yes. So I co-produced all my songs. Like, so Religion was co-produced with my friend Max. And so was a song called Ground Zero, which we ended up taking down because it just didn't feel like me. Far Too Long was co-produced with Max. And then I got to a point where he was like, dude, why don't you, like, you're doing so much. Why don't you just try it? Like, because I always considered myself an 80% producer. Like I could get an 80%. And I liked when they would put all the sauce on it. And so with What Is It About Tonight, that was the first time I produced the song all on my own.
And what program do you use?
Logic Pro.
Really? Okay. Cause I use Logic. That's all I've ever known. But I know a lot of people use Ableton and
Yep.
Pro Tools and all that stuff. And I've heard that you need that stuff to make good music, but obviously you don't. Like you
Well,
use
so
Logic.
Logic and Pro Tools are the two top DAWs in the music industry. So I mean, they're both very competitive. Ableton's getting there. I actually use Ableton as well. Um, I'm a push artist, so like I use Ableton Push and I do things with Ableton. It's been really cool. But yeah, Logic is great, and there's nothing compromising about Logic. Like it's great, and it's all about what plugins you have. Like anyone who uses Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, like you're all rocking the same plugins, man. Like
Yeah.
you're all digging from like Absinthe and like Contact and Slate Digital and Wave plugins. Like everyone's just going in, so you have all the same stuff. So at that point, it doesn't matter. It's just like what you want to plug into.
Okay. I think I have like one more question for you. When it comes to like performing live,
Yeah,
I know for me, I can't sing, so I would never do that. But like my brother has an amazing voice, but he'll never do anything about it because he's not confident in it. Like he just feels like he's not that good. When it
yeah.
comes to performing live, I feel like you have to get to that point where you're like, screw it. Like I'm either gonna go do this and people are gonna hate it or love it. And I could be wrong, but when was that hard for you to perform live, or was it easy for? Did it just come to you?
I get nerves for sure. I think if you don't get nerves, you don't care.
Oh yeah,
You know that with
Yeah, that's
baseball or anything,
beautiful.
it's like
That's beautiful.
yeah. I mean, playing sports and everything. It's like if
Yeah,
any game, it's like you get nervous. You don't know why. It's like because you care.
yeah.
So, but then again, if it's what you want to do, you just send it, don't you? It's
oh
like
yeah,
you have to just go for it. It's the same with sports. It's like, dude, music is no different than no, there's no job out there that's any different from any other job. Like whether it's being a pro athlete, songwriter, podcast. My dad's a manager at like semi truck business here. It's like there's no difference, man. It all requires you know that persistence, that motivation, dedication to become better. And then there's like the base level nerves that you get because you're like in the game. You know what I mean? So
oh yeah.
it's all the same, man. So
Think
yeah,
no, that sounds yeah. I get that. I
but
think
yeah, I
what
get nervous. I've had a few shows where like I've almost thrown up. Like
oh
the
wow,
first time I played a stadium, I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Because anytime I'd played big gigs before, I was with my band, and then when the script took me on tour, they just stuck me out there with my acoustic guitar in front of 12,000 people.
perfect question. Best stadium slash like gig you've ever done. Like if I ask you like right now, like what's the most memorable show you've done? What is that?
Oh, dude, Mayo Arena in Lisbon, Portugal.
Dude, that's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, they that culture just loves music so much, man. And I never felt a show that like hit so hard in my life. It was like because no one knew my when I went on tour with the script, like those songs weren't released. No one knew my songs, and so as I went on tour, people were learning like just so they could watch my gig and sing them, and it was lovely. But then for whatever reason, man, like Lisbon just got lit. Like everyone sang it. I have a video I could show you sometime, but like
Yeah.
it was nuts.
If you don't
And
mind, send it to me. I'll put it on the YouTube if that's cool with you.
sure.
Like on the side so people can kind of see. Was it so this was with the script.
Yeah, I was opening for them. Yes, sir.
What were shows like that looking like? I mean, was it 1,000 people? Was it 10,000? Was it what was
10 and up.
that's
Wow.
crazy.
The U.S. tour was probably around like 5,000 and 6,000 people a venue, but then yeah, over in Europe they're so big and like so Europe, the UK, Australia, Asia, they were all stadiums like everywhere. So it was
Dude,
it was,
that's
it
so
was
cool.
Dude,
I was
yeah.
very very blessed, man, and I'll always be grateful for that opportunity because they had no business really doing that. You know, like I was just there to songwrite, and then they just plucked me out and they're like, you know, take these 4 songs and let's go. You know, and it was a really beautiful thing that they didn't have to do. You know, no, that wasn't part of my contract, wasn't part of any of that, and they just chose to do it, and it was just, yeah, it was lovely, and I'll always be grateful for them. Yeah, for
That's
that.
so cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm in California. When can we get you out here? Or I'm sure you've done shows over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, man. Like I've played Hotel Cafe a few times. I've played the Wiltern. So yeah, I need to, once I get the second record wrapped up, man. I don't want to play shows until I have a body of work again to show people. I don't feel like it would be, not that it's not worth it. I'd just be more excited, I think, if I just came out with everything all at once and just let people come vibe.
Yeah, man. When you're ready, just hit us up. Let me know. I'd love to go out there and see you, man. It's
I
sick.
will for sure, man. I will.
What
Definitely.
what's that feeling like? I'm sure you've had it where you're performing and or people are actually like singing your song. Like,
It's
have
the
you
best.
had that? You've had that, right?
It's the best feeling in the world, man. There's nothing more rewarding in life. Like you write songs so that people will listen to them.
I was gonna say that's like your goal from the beginning, and now you're doing it.
Yeah, dude, it's the best. I wish that everyone got that experience. It's the home run, right? That's what it is. You look out and people are singing to it or crying or doing whatever, and like that's what it's about. Like you make songs to stir up emotions, 100%. And so when that happens, like whether it be I want this song to make people dance or whatever, like really feel themselves or like cry, you know, when you get that, it's like, oh, it's everything, man.
That's it. Um, I think we'll end on this real quick, Isaiah, unless you have anything. Um,
No, man, this was great, dude. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Dude,
what's
yeah, thank you guys for having me.
real quick? I'm gonna end on this. What's the end goal? Like, what's your how do I say this? Like, when I'm sure your goal, you're not like, oh, I'm done here. Like, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm sure you're like, I want to get to this point. What's that point of where you're like, ooh, I want to perform here, or I want my
No,
music to go here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's that goal?
I wanna write in a Billboard #1. Like
Dude,
I've had songs chart, like, or like pop on the charts for a bit. Like I haven't had like a certified like, oh, top 100 hit. I've had songs that I've written for other people jump up on there and then, go off just because I'm growing, right? Like I'm not there yet. But that's my goal, man. Whether it's a song that I write for myself or somebody else, I want that to be the thing.
hey, you got it. You got to just keep
Dude, you
pushing.
got the heart, man. You got the dedication. You're gonna do it.
Thank you.
It's gonna be sick,
You
man. And
got,
then
you
when you
got,
do, we'd love to talk with you again.
Dude,
yeah,
of course, man. This has been super cool. So anytime you guys want to talk, please just,
you
yeah.
you
Yeah.
definitely got
I'll,
the
I'll give
talent.
you my personal email as well, so you don't like, just in case, because sometimes on Instagram things get lost. So
Hey, pretty
Yeah.
soon when you got that 500,000 following or whatever, it will be hard to reach you on Instagram. So, um,
yeah, I'll give you my email.
okay. But yeah, dude, you got talent. Looks like you got the drive to do it. And I know a lot of this industry is like who you know and kind of, what you can do to push it to the next spot. So I feel like you got it. I mean, it's just, how long have you been really doing this for?
It'll be since my first record. It's been 10 years.
Okay.
But then before, yeah, so like, yeah, like 11 years
Just
at
keep
it.
doing it. How old are you?
I'm 32.
Yeah, dude, keep doing it. You got it.
Oh, thanks, dude.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm excited for new music to come out because, like I said, I listen to your song all the time. I listen to all your songs, but what is it about the night just hits me different. Um, and so I'm excited to hear new music. And then yeah, I'll keep in touch with you. Um,
Sure.
would love
Anything
to
you want to
you.
plug in? Anything you want to plug in?
No, man, I just want to say that you guys have been great. This has been super cool, and you guys are absolutely lovely. So,
Thanks,
you
man.
know,
Yeah, we try to make it. It's tough because obviously we want to ask you questions because we don't really know a lot about you personally. But I also don't want this to feel like an interview to people because, like, I want people to just come on here and have a good time, talk whatever you want to talk about, just with the boys, and then we're done. So it was fun having you. You definitely did really good, and it felt very easy to talk to you. And I'm
appreciate that.
yeah, thanks for coming on. Isaiah, you got anything you want to end it?
Thank you so much for listening, guys. Take
Yeah,
care. Love you.
Colton Avery, you did good. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you
It
guys.
was good to have you.
Yeah.
All
Take
right,
care,
I'll
guys.
talk to
All
you
right.
later.
All right. Be safe.